We're back here on the John Fourcade Show, and another one of our John Fourcade specials this week. It's all 2015 F-150 XLTs in stock. Man, either $11,250 off or $12,000 total savings on the Ford Holiday Sales Event. All 2015 F-150s XLTs in stock, $11,250 off or $12,000 total savings right here at Veterans Ford. We're back here on the John Fourcade Show, and John, the Saints playing the Falcons, and it's one of those rivalry games where, you know, records, you can kind of just whip that out. One of the things is the Falcons have caught a flames, so to speak, the last couple of weeks, 2 wins, and it goes to show you, you know, how hard it is, you know, and how much respect we got for the 72 Dolphins. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but Saints won in October, 31-21. The Saints have swept the Falcons 5 times since 2006, 06, 07, 09, 11, and 13. Interesting, Sean Payton had really had the number of Mike Smith when he was the head coach there. He had done a great job. The Falcons were red hot early in the year. The Saints caught them on a Thursday night, and they just kind of blew them out of the Superdome. I think you're catching the Falcons at a bad time now because they've won a couple games. Man, and if I'm the Falcons, this is my bowl game. This is it for me. I know I'll beat the Panthers last week and that sort of thing, but this is my bowl game to beat the Saints, a team that knocked us from the undefeated streak.
Well, also, if Minnesota would have lost the other night against the lonely Giants,
man, that's a bad team.
Then the Saints would be playing at Atlanta, and Atlanta would still have been in the playoff picture. With that being said, they're out now. It's over and done with. It's a bowl game for them. They can classify as a bowl game, and I guarantee you they're sitting there saying, hey, guys, they've been in here and beaten us quite a bit, and we have not produced enough against the New Orleans Saints. So the way Atlanta was playing early in the year, I was like, man, this might be one of the hottest teams in football. They came to reality and figured it all out that they're not very good. But you were right. This is 2 teams that don't like each other in the same conference, and anytime they can beat each other, that's bragging rights. Just like when I was in college, we wasn't very good. Played against Mississippi State. All that mattered was the last game of the season. We had victory rights for 365. That's the same thing here.
You know,
that Egg Bowl, baby.
The thing about it is, you know, we both had talked about this for weeks, that eventually the Panthers would hit the tripwire. Yeah. Now, we never thought it would have been against Atlanta.
No.
But they hit the tripwire. And again, I go back to, man, how much respect you got for the 72 Dolphins to roll that the entire season. We saw the Patriots do it a few years back, regular season, and then all of a sudden it was, you know, come Super Bowl Sunday. But it does show you how difficult it is, week in, week out, in this league, as tough as it is, to stay undefeated, no matter how good you're playing, because eventually you're going to play a bad game, and Atlanta was benefit of that. Now, I give Atlanta credit. Man, Julio Jones, that catch over Luke Kuechly, that was a tremendous catch. Man, I know how well Luke Kuechly can cover, and Julio Jones, he was Superman on that play.
Well, if you watch the game, and I did watch the football game, I sat there and watched because I wanted to see if this was going to be the team to beat the undefeated Panthers. And I'll say this, Atlanta showed me something. They threw the ball, and they did not shy away at going after Josh Norman. They said, you know what, you can talk all you want, say all you want. They went after him. Now, he made some plays, but he gave up a lot of stuff and didn't play very well in that ball game, I felt. I just thought Atlanta did some good things in the football game. I thought Matt Ryan played better than he's played in a long period of time. I really thought that the Atlanta Falcons defense showed up.
Showed pretty well.
And, you know, Mike, you're right. When you start playing football games, going undefeated the whole time, things come into play. Injuries, you know, the performance of some of your players, what teams you're playing with at what time, cross-country games, coming back home. There's so many variables that you got to look at. It just was a game going on the road in Atlanta. I did pick Atlanta to be an upset over Carolina because I just felt it was due. Carolina was going to end up losing a game. Early in the year, you'd have thought maybe Seattle they'd have lost, a Saints game they should have lost, a few things, but it wasn't. But it's getting to the crunch time for them. I think they were worried about going undefeated, and now it's much easier for them to realize we got our one loss in, we're going to regroup now.
Another team that was red hot and, man, just laid an absolute egg was Pittsburgh. They played against Baltimore. Man, you had Ryan Mallett playing quarterback, and they ended up losing that game. You talk about a team that you didn't really want to see on your schedule was the Steelers. As good as they were playing, the Ravens, a beat-up football team all season long, haven't played well, but the rivalry between Baltimore and Pittsburgh, man, that showed up big, and the Ravens end up upsetting them. That was a pick. A lot of people, kind of money people, took the points with the Ravens in that game. It was one of those games that you could see the trap fixing the snap. Similar to Carolina, eventually the Steelers were going to cool off.
I started seeing things with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can talk about all what they produce and what they have done, Mike. But if you watch the way Ben played in his last 3 football games, he has forced some balls. He has made some bad decisions. He has turned the football over. It wasn't the receiving cord. It wasn't the running game. It was Ben. And if you watch the Ravens game, it was Ben that cost them that game, throwing the pick 6, throwing some other picks, throwing into coverage. It wasn't the Ben Roethlisberger who has played earlier in the season that was really dominating people and playing well when he came back from his injury. It was just a bad 3 weeks for him because he almost lost the game in Denver, against Denver, when he threw the pick at the end of the game. All Denver had to do was score and win the football game, but they didn't. I just look at it this way. That was the hottest team, like you said. Not anymore. Now they're fighting for the playoff picture.
Bill Belichick's decision, and we've seen him do this before, in overtime, elect to kick off instead of taking the ball. My thing about it is I know it's worked in the past, and you really can't criticize Belichick for much. I mean, he's the most dominant coach of our era, so to speak, when you look at what he's done in that time frame. But, man, if I got Tom Brady and Gronkowski, why in the world am I kicking the ball? He had trust in his defense, could stop the Jets. Now, I give the Jets credit. They went down there and scored a touchdown and basically ended
the game.
But, boy, you talk about controversy. Do shows out in the Northeast and see how many people are really squawking about Belichick in that decision. And he's done it twice already. The third, he's won 2 games with it. On the third time, the charm wasn't there.
I still say it was a bad decision. Overtime, get the ball to your best player in NFL. You go down. You just got through scoring to get you tied. Granted, it was like over a minute left, but your offense had the ball last. You scored a touchdown. Get the ball back again, do exactly what you do. You go down, either you score a touchdown to win the game, or if you kick a field goal, then you still got your defense go out there, and hopefully you get them to hold the Jets to a field goal or nothing at all, and you win the ball game. But, you know, he gambled, and it didn't pay off, and that's him. But then again, I know he calculates a lot of things. And I'm seeing in his eyes, he's going, you know what, if we win, we win. If we don't win, we don't win. We'll take care of business. We're probably still going to get home field advantage because I think they'll win it and get home field advantage. They'll beat Miami.
It's interesting now, the MVP talk, and it was dominated early on, Tom Brady, Cam Newton. Now, all of a sudden now, Carson Palmer, almost like Secretariat from back of the pack, he's raced in now. Has had a great couple of weeks. I wish they would vote MVP really after everything's over with, which doesn't happen. It's voted basically after the season, not after postseason play, because I do think that should come into play into the MVP race. And there's a lot of debate, and it's kind of split 3 ways. I look at it at what guy has the most benefit to his team. Man, I see all the injuries with New England. And that's why my deal would be Brady. I just think he's done more for his team with all those injuries and put them not 2 levels higher, but 3 levels higher. And certainly you got a great debate if you pick in Carson Palmer and Cam Newton for what they've done. My vote would be right now Tom Brady.
Well, my vote was Tom Brady for a long period of time, and I guess I jumped off the bandwagon when they lost the ball games. I really didn't look at the fact that the injuries and the no-name players he's playing with, and how he's done it with some guys that he don't even know about that come in and out the door every other week. And then you look at Carson Palmer. We don't know what the backup quarterback can do for Arizona yet because he hasn't played, and the fact he hasn't played because they're doing so well there. But Carson Palmer is stacked all the way around him. And then you take Cam. Cam's done great enough that they got to 14-0. And one man he's really done it with was Olsen. He's done a lot himself, Cam has. But Cam's numbers in a passing department aren't nowhere near Carson Palmer, nor is it near, I think, Tom Brady. So you were right. It's a toss-up, and I like the fact you said it should be done at the end of the year. After the Super Bowl's over with, like they do in baseball. When everything's all over, take a couple of weeks off, then you evaluate it, and that's how you figure it out. You can't go by the regular season.
I look at Carson Palmer. Isn't he kind of a new age Kurt Warner, and a guy that had a nice start, cooled off, and had his life kind of revitalized in Arizona. What a great coach Bruce Arians is, though, in Arizona. Man, listen, he took that team last year with the 3rd-string quarterback into the playoffs. So, man, it goes to show you what coaching can do, and I give Arians and his staff tremendous credit. On his staffs, a defensive line coach by the name of Tom Pratt. He was the defensive line coach in Super Bowl I If Arizona gets there, he'll be coaching in Super Bowl 50.
80 years old.
That is unbelievable that he has went through that his entire span. We'll be back with more of the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford.